The cameras flashed, the crowd froze. Blacked-out SUVs swarmed 7th Avenue under a pop-up tent. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession, surviving Taylor Swift's $100 million secret wedding. Or, well, at least that's what the rumors are calling it. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Yeah, and for today's deep dive, we are looking at an absolute mountain of sources here.
Oh yeah, it is a lot to get through.
It really is. We've pulled from the New York Times, Forbes, Time, Variety, a handful of viral podcasts, and of course those relentless TikTok sleuths.
Yeah, I love the TikTok sleuths.
Exactly. So our mission today is to separate the fiction from the incredibly bizarre reality of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's July 3rd, 2026 wedding at Madison Square Garden.
Still can't believe it was at MSG.
Right. It's wild. We are going to unpack the CIA-level security operation, a completely surreal VIP-less reception, and, the fierce public backlash that literally spilled out onto the streets of New York.
I mean, getting invited to this wedding wasn't just a matter of checking yes on a piece of cardstock. It was essentially like a digital escape room for billionaires.
Oh, 100%.
Guests had to pass this security gauntlet that included multi-factor authentication and a DocuSign non-disclosure agreement with, as the sources called it, teeth.
Yeah, serious teeth.
But I have to ask, what does an NDA with teeth actually look like when your guest list is entirely made of people who are already billionaires and A-listers?
So it basically comes down to a legal mechanism called a liquidated damages clause.
Okay, what is that?
Usually, if you break a contract, the other party has to prove exactly how much money your breach cost them, which is, incredibly difficult in a privacy case.
Right, like how do you prove the monetary value of a leaked photo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this NDA totally bypassed that. It stipulated that if a guest leaked even a single detail like a menu item or a floral arrangement, they automatically owed a pre-agreed, completely ruinous sum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we are talking millions of dollars per violation, and it was instantly enforceable.
That is terrifying. Just think about the last time you organized a dinner for 10 people. It's chaos, right?
Yeah.
Now, imagine you're trying to coordinate 1,000 global icons in Manhattan without even telling them where they're going.
Yeah.
Because the invitation process, which started way back in March, was entirely cloak and dagger.
It really was. Imagine you were a high-level executive. You suddenly start getting these cryptic text messages from an unknown number reading, "This is from Taylor and Travis. I promise it's not spam."
Which sounds exactly like spam.
Right. Jonathan Thomas, the CEO of American Century Investments, actually discussed this on the Compound and Friends podcast. He literally thought it was a sophisticated phishing scam targeting his phone.
I mean, I would too.
He repeatedly deleted the texts and eventually just blocked the number entirely.
That is completely reasonable.
It wasn't until weeks later that Travis Kelce personally called him on the phone saying, "Hey, JT, you're one of the only people that hasn't responded to the wedding invitation. What's going on?"
I can just picture that moment of sheer panic from the CEO,
Yeah.
realizing he literally blocked the groom.
Oh, yeah.
But getting past the NDA was just level one. Once you were locked in, they still didn't tell you the venue. First, guests were just told East Coast. Later, they updated it to just Manhattan.
Yeah, drip-feeding the intel.
Exactly. They didn't get the actual location until 4 a.m. on the day of the wedding. So you have Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid waking up in the middle of the night to receive this highly specific QR code.
And that QR code was tied to a very strict logistical protocol. Sources indicated that it came with an exact geofenced driving route to Madison Square Garden.
Geofenced driving routes. Unbelievable.
Right. If a guest's black car deviated from that specific route, the software tracking the arrivals would flag it, and the car just wouldn't be recognized by security when it pulled up. And then, once they finally made it inside the perimeter, all smartwatches and phones were immediately confiscated.
Wait, so they didn't just track the cars, they essentially wiretapped their own wedding invitations to make sure nobody strayed from the path?
Pretty much.
I have to say, if the security is this tight, doesn't it cross the line from a beautiful celebration of love into a highly stressful intelligence operation?
That is the ultimate tension of modern celebrity, right? For two global icons of this magnitude, intimacy basically requires a militarized zone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You cannot have a private moment without building a fortress first. And Swift actually designed this ingenious digital trap for anyone who tried to breach that fortress from the inside.
Yes, this is the part that completely blew my mind. every single digital invite featured this beautiful, custom watercolor forest scene with an orange sky and a heart-wrapped double T monogram.
Yep.
But subtly embedded into the background of that artwork was a digital watermark of the specific guest's name.
Yeah, and this wasn't just a faint logo painted into the trees. They used a technique called steganography.
Steganography.
Right, so Swift's security team altered the actual pixel data, the least significant bits of the image file. To the naked eye, it just looks like a textured brushstroke on a leaf. But to security software, it's basically a barcode with the guest's identity.
And we know this because 2 days before the wedding, the trap actually sprang. Ashish Ferguson, who is the sister of Travis's childhood pal and personal chef, briefly posted her invite online.
Yeah, just for a few minutes.
She took it down almost immediately, but Swifties analyzed the image, adjusted the contrast, and spotted her name embedded right in the watercolor art. Case closed in seconds.
It just shows how Swift blends her romantic aesthetic with highly sophisticated tracking technology. It wasn't just a pretty piece of art, it was a digital honeypot.
Seriously. Hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead, and you really won't want to miss our next deep dive. But for now, we have to talk about the venue itself. Why Madison Square Garden? A USA Today critic, Kofi Maframa, noted that hosting a wedding at MSG might seem bizarre to internet tastemakers, but it proves Swift remains faithful to her canon of uncool.
Right.
But I look at this and think, is renting out an entire 20,000-seat arena the ultimate flex of billionaire wealth? Or is it literally just the only building in New York City capable of holding her security bubble?
I think it is entirely a tactical, logistical necessity that's just disguised as a flex.
How so?
Well, think about a beautiful vineyard in Napa or a chateau in the south of France. Those locations are completely vulnerable to paparazzi drones, telephoto lenses from miles away, perimeter breaches.
Oh, true. Wide open spaces.
Exactly. Madison Square Garden is a concrete bumper. It is uniquely equipped with subterranean loading docks. You can drive a fleet of blacked-out SUVs directly underneath the building, straight into secure underground staging areas, and close the steel doors behind them.
So you never step foot on a public sidewalk.
Never.
Okay, so they chose Madison Square Garden because it's an impenetrable concrete fortress. But what's fascinating is how hard they worked to make the inside of that fortress feel like a delicate, intimate, secret garden.
Oh, the visual contrast must have been stunning.
They draped the entire arena floor in peach, white, and green fabrics. They brought in massive live trees and scattered childhood photos of Taylor and Travis throughout the branches. Plus, Swift wore this stunning Christian Dior haute couture dress.
And within that transformed space, the ceremony itself bucked almost every traditional wedding norm.
Yeah, no massive bridal parties?
None. No bridesmaids, no groomsmen. Taylor's brother, Austin Swift, served as a man of honor. Travis's brother, retired NFL center Jason Kelce, served as the best man.
I love that.
And Jason and Kylie Kelce's young kids were the flower girls. They kept the altar completely restricted to immediate family.
Which makes their choice of officiant so wildly unexpected. When the king of comedy himself, Adam Sandler, walked out in front of 1,000 guests, people literally thought it was a prank.
Yeah, Jonathan Thomas said the entire room started laughing, just assuming a comedy bit was about to happen.
But the genius of choosing Sandler is that he perfectly bridges the gap between massive global fame and grounded, everyman authenticity.
He really does.
He delivered a 20-minute ceremony that was apparently incredibly poignant. He did lean into the humor, joking about the traditional for rich or for poor vows, which got a massive laugh considering the couple's net worth, but he balanced it with deeply sincere advice.
And afterwards, Swift and Kelce read their own 20-minute vows from a golden book.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the weather anomaly. I mean, you literally could not script this in a Hollywood writer's room.
You really couldn't. At exactly 7:22 p.m., the ceremony concluded. Instantly, massive pink billboards across the exterior of Madison Square Garden and all the way over on the Empire State Building lit up with the message, "Just TNT married."
So cool.
But simultaneously, and multiple meteorological reports and news outlets confirm this, a sudden, intense rainstorm hit Manhattan.
Out of nowhere.
Right. High winds, lightning strikes, and then immediately following it, a massive, vibrant rainbow appeared directly over the city skyline.
It's like the atmosphere itself signed one of those NDAs, and was paid off by the wedding planner.
Seriously.
And that's not even the wildest part, because wait till you hear what came next. You have this impenetrable concrete fortress, this mystical weather event, and then you walk into the reception, and they're serving Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, the reception is where the sociology of this event gets really fascinating. This was a party estimated to cost between $20 and $50 million.
$50 million. Unbelievable.
And the catering was handled by Zero Bond, which is one of the most exclusive, hyper-private social clubs in New York.
Right.
Yet they actively rejected the traditional symbols of wedding wealth. There was no giant 6-tier fondant wedding cake. Instead, they built a massive dessert table featuring 30 different cakes, all with unique toppers, right alongside a mountain of Pop-Tarts, late-night pizzas, and cheesesteaks.
And the drinks were just as curated to this casual vibe. They had custom cocktails named the English teacher, the gym teacher, and tea and tequila.
I love those names.
Right. But it almost feels like Marie Antoinette's peasant village. It's this highly curated simulation of middle-class normalcy constructed exclusively for the ultra-rich.
That is a brilliant way to frame it, because the entertainment followed that exact same pattern. It basically turned into a billionaire karaoke night.
Oh yeah, Avril Lavigne jumped up to sing Skater Boy. Stevie Nicks, Ciara, Ice Spice, and Fergie all took the microphone.
And the absolute peak was Sir Paul McCartney getting on stage to sing I Wanna Hold Your Hand, a Beatles classic he reportedly hadn't performed live since 1964.
Just incredible.
There's also the widely circulated rumor that Lena Dunham gave a speech comparing the sport of football to gay porn, which apparently left the room gasping.
Honestly, I can picture that. But notice what was missing from that room. There were 0 VIP sections. You had Tom Hanks, Gigi Hadid, massive NFL linebackers, and childhood friends from Ohio, all just commingling on the arena floor without any velvet ropes.
Right.
And they were playing carnival games. Jackie Tranquil, the wife of Chiefs linebacker Drew Tranquil, posted a picture of a winning raffle ticket next to her prize, which was a black Chanel handbag that retails for $6,700.
Yeah.
Another prize was a vintage 1970 Chevelle.
The lack of VIP ropes is actually the ultimate flex of power, if you think about it.
How so?
Well, when you were at an event with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, you don't need a VIP section because the entire building is the VIP section. Every single person in that room has already survived the digital steganography, the NDAs, and the background checks.
That's a good point. But I have to challenge this narrative a bit. Country star Brad Paisley attended and told the press the whole thing felt incredibly pretension-free. Does playing carnival games for a $6,700 handbag make an event pretension-free? Or is this just the ultimate billionaire summer camp?
Oh, it is undeniably a billionaire summer camp. What Paisley experienced was the aesthetic of accessibility, funded by limitless resources.
Yeah.
It's a carefully constructed narrative of normalcy. They want to feel like they are just having a backyard barbecue, but they are doing it inside a billion-dollar arena with Paul McCartney as the wedding singer.
Exactly. Hey, stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because you can't build a billionaire summer camp in the middle of Manhattan without stepping on the city's toes.
No, you really can't.
While the stars were inside eating caviar and Pop-Tarts, the reality outside Madison Square Garden was incredibly tense.
And this is where we have to look at the real-world impact. It's crucial that we examine this from multiple angles here. We are simply reporting the facts and the viewpoints presented in the public sphere. We are not taking sides.
Yeah.
The reality is that shutting down 7th Avenue directly restricted public access to Penn Station, which is one of the busiest transit hubs in the Western Hemisphere. Everyday commuters were suddenly locked out of their normal routes.
And the toll on the city's workforce was severe. Page 6 reported that 135 NYPD officers were required to work grueling 24 to 30-hour shifts to maintain that security perimeter.
Yeah, and this was right in the middle of a brutal July heat wave.
This extreme contrast sparked a fierce nationwide debate about wealth and the privatization of public resources. On the critical side, political commentator and influencer Hassan Piker publicly condemned the event.
He did?
He called the wedding a dramatic misuse of public resources and described the entire spectacle as tacky. Many online critics echoed this, comparing the event to Jeff Bezos and Lawrence Sanchez's lavish celebrations. For a lot of working-class people struggling with rent and groceries, watching a public transit artery get choked off for a billionaire's private karaoke night was a painful reminder of extreme wealth inequality.
But there is a defense to this, and it came from some surprising places.
Right.
New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani addressed the backlash directly. He confirmed that Swift and Kelce did not simply drain taxpayer funds for this massive police presence. They actually paid over $160,000 out of their own pockets, specifically to cover the NYPD overtime costs.
That's a massive detail.
Furthermore, AMC CEO Adam Aaron, who was a guest at the wedding, pointed out that the couple quietly donated $26 million to various charities over that very same weekend, attempting to offset the footprint of their celebration.
Wow.
Even Donald Trump weighed in. When reporters at the White House asked him about the massive street closures and the wedding, he simply wished the couple a lot of luck.
It was inescapable. Every corner of the culture had an opinion. But it makes me wonder, is it even physically possible for two global icons of this magnitude to get married without deeply disrupting a major city?
That's a great question.
It feels like trying to hide a live dinosaur in a studio apartment.
Yeah.
No matter how many NDAs you sign or how much police overtime you pay for, the mere footprint of the event is going to crush the floorboards.
That is the perfect analogy. The sheer gravity of their fame warps the physical environment around them. They literally cannot exist in a public space without altering its mechanics.
Yeah.
The shutdown of 7th Avenue wasn't just to satisfy their ego, it was a baseline logistical requirement to prevent a public safety disaster. If they hadn't barricaded those streets, tens of thousands of fans would have flooded the area just to get a glimpse of a blacked-out SUV, potentially crushing each other in the process. The disruption was inevitable.
So after the $50 million is spent, the streets are reopened, and the NDAs are filed away, what are we actually left with?
We are left with a fascinating cultural void, which leads us to a really provocative thought I want you, the listener, to ponder.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because of that insane no phones policy, the confiscated smartwatches, and the fear of those liquidated damages clauses, there are still, to this day, no official or leaked photos of the actual wedding ceremony or the reception.
Wait, literally none?
None. Not a single authentic pixel from inside that room has reached the public.
That is wild.
But nature, and especially the internet, abhors a vacuum. Because there are no real photos, social media has been completely flooded with highly realistic, AI-generated fake images of the wedding.
Oh my God.
We are talking about millions of people seeing, liking, and sharing photos of a ceremony that never actually existed in the way it's being depicted on their screens.
That is incredibly dystopian. Millions of people are emotionally reacting to a hallucination.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it raises a vital question for our culture moving forward. As celebrity security reaches these military-grade levels, effectively sealing off massive cultural events from the public eye, will artificial intelligence completely take over our pop culture reality? When the stars lock us out and the security tech holds firm, will the internet just seamlessly invent its own truth?
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.